Hello folks, it's that time of year when you start to think about having some colour and interest in your garden during the winter months and into the early spring. So today I thought what I'd do for my video is to show you how to plant up a container or a pot to give you all that colour through the winter months and into the spring. So I've been out and I've actually purchased some plants that you might like to consider that gives you all that colour and all that interest, and we're going to look at how to build the pot correctly and basically get you being inspired during the winter months, because it doesn't have to be a drab time and you can have some really pretty things to be looking at. So let's have a look at the plants. So we start here on the left hand side with what's called Ceanothus, and this is a Californian lilac, normally in flower in the spring, but it's decided to throw a flower out for us. Then the main focal plant is what we call Skimmia japonica rubella, with these lovely flowers and these glossy leaves. Then to give us some golden colour in our pot, we've got Choisya tenata Sundance. And then moving down, we've got some variegated ivy, and I'll show you a trick of the trade once we get there with the ivy and how to use them. And then we've got some Euonymus fortunei, which gives us golden variegated colour. Then right on the right hand side is a Juga reptans burgundy glow, and that will just get deeper red as the weather gets colder. Then if we move to the front row, one of the stars of this planting scheme is going to be Pinetia mucronata. Wonderful purple berries that look almost unreal, an acid loving plant. Then moving on to Cyclamen coum, a hardy cyclamen that you can leave outside and will give you that lovely texture. And then finally we've got Gaultheria procumbens with these lovely red berries that again will be in berry for you all the way through the winter months. Now I've chosen quite a deep pot because we're going to pop some bulbs in there as well. So we talk about movement through the seasons, and as you get towards spring, yeah, you're going to have some bulbs popping up in your pot. And I've chosen some tulips, pop those into the pot, and also towards the top of the pot, and once we get into planting it, then effectively I've got some miniature irises. So there you are, and there's the stars of the show, folks. And we're going to get on with actually planting the pot and showing you how to do this properly. So we'll move straight on to that particular process, shall we? So here's my pot. There it is. So it's quite a deep pot, as I've said. And on the right hand side I've got some multi-purpose compost. And the first thing that we need to do in our pot is to put some gravel in there, so that we're ensuring that we've got a really good drainage system in place. So we're just going to drop some gravel in there. So a couple of pots of gravel. And gravel will also stabilise the pot itself. So put a good range of gravel in there and just literally lay that flat. And now we're going to pop some compost in there. So this is multi-purpose compost that we're using, and we just pop 2 or 3 handfuls in there and lay that out. And instantly we are ready to pop our first plants in. So we're going to drop some tulips in there, folks. So the tulips themselves, here they are. So when you're checking your tulips, you need to just check that they're nice and firm. There is an upside and a downside, so the pointed end is the actual upside and the flat end is the downside, and you just nestle those into the compost, and we're going to put them around the outside. So these are a really nice tulip, and just drop them around the outside. Don't plant them too close together because they don't particularly like competition, and we want about 5 or 6 in there, folks. So there you go. So the tulips are in, already ready to go, and now we just fill the compost up, drop them in there. Now if you're using tulips, you don't want too claggy a compost, because you don't want it to rot, but with the extra drainage that we put into the pot, then effectively it should be okay. So we top our pot right the way up to the top now, folks. So get all that compost in there and top it right the way up. Some really decent stuff. So we're going to try and get it to this rim really, okay? And then effectively we start to plant. So we drop that in there, and then all the while you're thinking about what you're going to plant where and how is this going to work out. And it's all a bit of garden design, isn't it, at the end of the day. So you know, you're designing a really nice space for you to actually have some winter colouring. So we're nearly there, and it's a decent sized pot, isn't it, to fill at the end of the day. So now, when once you're at the stage that you want to be at, which is roughly where we are now, we can start to play with colours and things like that. So the Skimmia is going to be my main plant, and obviously I'm going to pop that right in the centre of the pot. Now, if you're trying to get plants out of pots and they've been in there for a little while, then you might actually want to just give it a really good squeeze. And don't be frightened of actually treading on the pot to get plants out. So at the end of the day, look at the root system on that. That's absolutely fabulous and superb, isn't it? Look at that, that's what you want. Now you can tease some of the roots out, but you're not tearing into it, folks. So you just tease some out, just so that it's ready to go. Okay, just so they're more or less ready to go. And then almost as you've dug compost, put compost in, I beg your pardon, then you're going to dig a little bit of compost out. And don't forget that what you're trying to do is actually replicate the conditions that you got in the pot itself. So we pop that in, slightly proud of the compost, and then push down so that effectively you are getting all that root system in contact with the soil itself. Now we can start to play with popping all the other bits and pieces in. So I'm going to try the euonymus first, and again give the pot a good squeeze and a little tug, okay, and the root system again basically just tease a little bit out, and then we can pop that perhaps to one side there and just drop that in place, and again push it into place, okay. And then I'm going for the choisia next, and again give that a good squeeze. That's not so well rooted, but that's okay, it's good, it's ready to go. And again we're just going to drop that on the other side of the actual container itself and pop that in. Look guys, absolutely lovely. It's already looking absolutely brilliant, isn't it? Now the Ceanothus, the Californian lilac, these are all what I call my structure plants. So this is just giving this container a little bit of structure. And again, look at the root system on that, absolutely beautiful. So we just tease a few out, and effectively I'm going to drop that right in the front there. Okay, and then the Ajuga I'm going to drop in the back, which you probably won't see because it's around the back, but this one has rooted through the pot. That's fine, there's no problem with that. You just literally tear the roots away. Look folks, you're doing no damage. Give that a good squeeze and then remove the plant from the pot itself, and then tuck that in. So I've almost got quadrants going on here guys. So now think about where your front and back is going to be, and I'm going to use one of my star plants now. This is the Pinetia mucronata, and basically this has been in the pot for quite a while. Look, but look at that, that's quite pot bound. So essentially we're going to drop that in place right here. So you're going to need to dig a little hole with your hands, pop that into place, and then basically make sure that's in place. Look, and look at that, instant, isn't it guys? Really is instant. The Gaultheria, here it is. We give that a little bit of a squeeze, and once again we'll pop this around the front here and pop that into place there. Okay, and then we're left with the cyclamen, which is going to come around the back here, cyclamen coum, and we're going to drop that in there like that. And then one of the pots of ivies that we've got, we're going to leave as a whole pot, and we're going to drop it into here. But here's a trick of the trade, folks. When they propagate ivies in nurseries, okay, it looks like one plant, but actually when you divide it, look, there's 1, 2, 3, even 4 plants there, folks. So you've got 4 extra plants to use. So you can save yourself a little bit of money by buying a single plot, because you'll have 4 plants. And now all I'm going to do here is just drop these into the compost around the outside, where I've got some little gaps where I can actually fill in, and we're just popping them into the soil, folks. And I think you will agree that that becomes a really stunning and lovely container. Now I've not quite finished, because remember we got some miniature irises, so that looks great at the moment, doesn't it? But you need things to carry it through into the spring. Now the tulips are quite late flowering with regards to bulbs, so irises are going to be quite early flowering for you. So all we need to do is we just need to drop 4 or 5 of these into the actual pot itself. And you will have forgotten about these once they actually come through. So these are the little surprises that basically I was talking about. So there is an upside and a downside. So remember, pointed end up, use your finger and just drop some in there. So we're going to pop 1 in there, look. And cover it over. And then we'll use our finger again around this side here, and we'll just drop 1 in there, look. And you've forgotten all about these, folks. And we'll just pop 1 down here around this side, and then 1 in here next to our cyclamen coum, look. And then 1 around this side. So folks, there you go. There is a planter that will give you winter right the way through to spring colour. And I'm pretty sure you can achieve results like that, because that's pretty stunning, isn't it? And to be looking at that during the winter period must give you inspiration. So go on, go out there and buy yourself a pot and some plants and just have a go. Don't forget the bulbs to give you that extra boost that you'll have forgotten about once we get to spring. Thank you very much for listening, and happy gardening. And by the way, Merry Christmas.